Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that have just joined, we welcome you. We're asking you to introduce yourselves via the chat box in the interest of time. I do see that our Area Commissioner Ray Martin has joined us. Welcome, Ray. My name is Ann. I am the Vice President for Advancement for the Greenville Tech Foundation. It's my pleasure to be with you today and host this Lunch and Learn. I hope that you will not only learn something, obviously we don't have the lunch part, right? But hopefully you'll learn something, as well as feel free to ask questions. And we're happy to have additional conversations and follow-up after the call today. But we have a wonderful group with us, and I am so thankful for all of the work that is done by both our foundation team members as well as the college. Just so you are aware, the Greenville Tech Foundation is a nonprofit, and we exist to support Greenville Technical College and our students. And this is one of our shining stars, our African American Male Scholars Initiative, and we'd like for you to hear more about it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Mateel Knowles. Mateel?
Thank you, Ann, and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us to spend a little time so that we can share what we're doing with our programs. I'm trying to switch over to my my portion of the PowerPoint, and also to answer your questions and just hear let you hear what we're doing and talk about how we can possibly support one another. Are you seeing my PowerPoint? Are you seeing the PowerPoint?
No.
Okay, 1 second. As of last week, I have 3 monitors at my desk, and it gets a little fun to navigate. Let me try this again.
It's a little scary.
Yeah. I think I have too many things open. Bear with me 1 second. I'm not sure why it's not working. Hey, Jackie, would you just drive for me so I don't so I can honor everyone's time? Thank you. Shared this morning, no problems. Trying to share here, problems. So Jackie's gonna, thank you. I really appreciate that, Jackie. If you can go to the next slide. Great, thank you. So before we get into the details of our African American Male Scholars Initiative, my portion here today is to give you just a very quick high-level overview about Greenville Technical College, because we often hear that it's one of the best kept secrets, and I think if you understand our college and how we fit into the system and our service region, it'll help give some context when you start hearing more about the AAMSI program. So first of all, I want to share that we're part of South Carolina's technical college system. The system started back in the 1960s, and we're one of 16 technical colleges in the state. When the technical colleges were established, the idea was that no citizen would have to travel more than 50 miles in any direction in order to access education and to benefit from economic development. We're actually the only public college in Greenville. I'll let that resonate for a moment. And we're one of the 3 largest technical colleges in our state. So we're part of a system, and we work well together as a system, and certainly are able to serve our service regions with similar practices. Next slide, please. Also important to note is our accreditation. We are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. The reason this is important has to do with standards and quality. We're part of the same exact accreditation body that provides the accreditation for Clemson and other research universities in our state, in the whole southern region of the country. And so what that means is that our practices, our standards for academics, our standards for support services, for faculty credentialing, all of those things are held against the same standards as Clemson and other colleges and universities. And it really helps to make sure that the quality's there, but it really helps our students when it comes to smoothly transferring college credits and so forth. And so we're very proud of that accreditation. The standards are high. We are assessed every 10 years, and we have that coming up late next year. And we have to do a lot in between to constantly let SACCOC know that we are meeting the standards that they set for our institution. Next, please. Thank you. So I want to talk just briefly about getting started with Greenville Technical College. The reasons that you see listed here are very relevant, but they are particularly relevant now. We're in this COVID-19 situation that we've been in since last year. And for many students, saving on tuition is critical, but also this is a place where a lot of people who maybe were going to go away to college at a university this past fall opted not to for various reasons. And our students can start here at Greenville Technical College. A lot of students come here and they knock out their first year with us, their first 2 years, and then they transfer on. And so that's an opportunity that people may not think about, but we are a great resource right here in the community. The small class sizes, we have, I think our average right now might even be as low as 20 students to one faculty member, and in some cases smaller with our in-class options right now because of our social distancing protocols that are in place. Lots of individual attention inside and outside of the classroom. That's one of our hallmarks. Top-notch faculty. Again, that goes back to the credentialing that we talked about. We have many faculty members who have the same credentials as faculty who teach in major universities and who have terminal degrees in their cognate areas. And so if you'll go to the next slide. Affordability. This is huge. You probably have seen some things in the news and did a wonderful interview a couple of weeks ago about some very unique ways that we've been able to support our students who had outstanding balances that were preventing them from persisting at Greenville Technical College. But I want you to see that we have a potpourri of financial options for students. Everything from scholarships through the foundation, South Carolina lottery tuition assistance. That is something that is unique to the technical colleges, and it pays a large portion of the tuition. And the nice thing about the lottery tuition assistance is the only eligibility, in a nice, easy way to remember it, is to be taking at least 2 classes, 6 credit hours. So this is a wonderful opportunity for students who, quote unquote, make too much to receive some of the other funding that's available through the federal government and other resources. Life scholarship, National Guard assistance. We have a wonderful program for our veterans, lots of federal grants that do not have to be paid back. Federal work study, where students can work on campus if they're eligible for that program. We do offer student loans. We try to do our best to direct students away from loans so they don't leave Greenville Technical College with heavy student loan debt. And so we have something for just about anyone. And so paying for college is something that we definitely can help students with. And it can be different for every single student, but this is a great place to get started and to get financial support. Next slide, please. Convenience. We have multiple campuses around Greenville County, and we still do have campus tours. They're virtual right now, but I wanted to talk about the convenience just very quickly of online learning, because the COVID-19 pandemic required us to pivot. And so we did so. And right now we offer a combination of online courses, hybrid courses where students are taking classes partially online, partially in person. And we have about 10% of our classes actually meeting face-to-face. And so I'm really proud of how our college has responded in terms of making sure we have something for everyone, no matter what their comfort level is in the midst of a pandemic. And so if you're wondering or speak to anyone who's wondering, we are open and we can meet students where they are in terms of the different modalities and the way we deliver our programs. Next slide, please. Programs of study. We have more than 100 programs of studies. We have associate degrees, many of which transfer smoothly to other colleges and universities. We have certificate programs and diplomas. And so there's a little something here for everyone, for someone who wants to go right into a specific career when they finish at Greenville Technical College, or if it's their plan to transfer to a university. And we have, would you go to the next slide, please? We have lots of support in place to help students with those decisions. I have this here. Most of my managers in our division have a large poster on their walls called What Are Students? And one of the lines on that poster is that students are the most important people on our campus. And we live and breathe that as a college every single day. This is what guides our decision making, everything that we do. It all comes back to the students. And this is more important than ever. And I know I keep mentioning COVID-19, but it has impacted our students in such a significant way. It's impacted the college in such a significant way. So this is what guides us. If you'll go to the next slide, please. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Student Services Division. This is the division I lead. This is our mission statement for our division: to provide excellent services that promote student success in a safe, very important right now, and inclusive, very important right now, learning environment. Next slide, please. Thank you. So some of the ways that we do that, most of what I'm responsible for falls into the types of services that are provided for students outside of the classroom. And they typically fall into categories under enrollment services. We're responsible and involved with pretty much everything that gets a student started from the minute they express an interest in Greenville Technical College, the admissions process, placement testing, getting them through orientation, and getting them to their initial advising session and whatever other special support they need. And we also refer them to financial aid to make sure that they get that process started. We have endless support services. Sometimes we are aware of those at the beginning of a student's matriculation with us. Sometimes their needs surface while they're here, after they've been here for a semester or two, but we have something for just about every student for whatever might come up while they're here. And life is still going to happen for our students, and you'll hear about some of that during the next part of the presentation. But I always tell students when I have a chance to speak with them, especially when they're brand new, if you let us know what's happening, we probably have something on campus already to support you through that situation. And if not, we definitely have a partner in the community who can help either instead of us or with us. Student engagement is huge. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Wendy Walden is on here. I know you're not feeling well, Wendy, but I just have to shout out to Wendy. She leads this piece along with many other things at the college, but this piece has been so critical over the past year, and she's found a way to involve our students in some what she brands as courageous conversations to support the college's efforts around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Health, wellness, and judicial. We're responsible for making sure students are doing okay while they're here. Sometimes it's not a good time for students to be here, and we have to use our judicial affairs process to help navigate that. And we do that for the benefit of all students. But mainly we want to support their overall holistic wellness while they're here at the college so they can focus on their studies and head toward their next steps. And we also have a Center for Student Advocacy that helps students if they don't even know where to go. If they're running into problems, it serves as sort of a hub. And so I can talk more about that in a different setting. Next slide. So this, I'm not going to read all these to you, but I just want you to see a highlight of some of the services that we provide for students at Greenville Technical College. And we're still offering all of these, even though we have shifted in terms of how many students are on campus, and the needs are greater than ever. And our counselors, we have licensed counselors. Not every college, not every technical college especially, has that. We have support for addiction recovery and many other things you see here. The last one on the list, the Caring Corner, we have a food pantry, and we work very closely with the foundation to assist students with student emergencies. So I mentioned that we have something for anything that might come up, anything that might surface as a barrier or a challenge. This is a list of some of them. Next slide, please. And so the last thing I want to mention is that we have a lot of boutique programs, or we have some boutique programs at our college. And in higher ed, boutique programs are those programs that are designed specifically for one sub-cohort of students who have needs that might be somewhat different than the general student population. And for reasons that you'll hear about in just a moment, one such program is our African American Male Scholars Initiative, which we refer to as AAMSI. And so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Alicia Watt. Dr. Watt serves as our Director of Educational Opportunity Programs. Those are programs at the college where we receive grant funding to serve a certain population of students, one of which is the African American Male Scholars. And so Dr. Watt, without further ado, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Knowles. I appreciate that. I just want to take opportunity to say thank you to everyone for joining us today so that we can share all of this exciting information with you. I am going to share my screen. So give me just a moment here.
Hopefully yours will go more smoothly than mine.
Hope so. All right. Can you all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, great, because now I can't see you all anymore. All right, so about 3 years ago, the president of Greenville Technical College, Dr. Keith Miller, put together what he called the Commission on Persistence and Retention. And this was a group of 9 people that he selected to take a look at the college's retention efforts. So at the time, we were doing a really good job as a college of bringing students in. So we were doing really well with enrollment, but we were having just a bit of a challenge in keeping them enrolled in college from term to term all the way through to graduation. So he wanted us to take a look at that and develop a strategic plan for how the college could actually address the retention issues that we were having. So he asked me to chair that commission, and the team, we got together twice a week for months and months and months. And the first thing that we did was we decided we were going to look at the data. So we wanted to see whether or not there was a specific group of students, or whether we could determine if there were some trends that we could identify of groups of students who were not returning to school. And what we realized was that our African American males were coming in at the bottom of every category. So when we looked at persistence, and that's going from the fall to the spring term, they were coming in at the bottom. We looked at retention, and that is from fall to fall, they were coming in at the bottom. And so every category that we looked at, our African American males were coming in at the bottom. So we realized that no matter what plan we put forward to the president's cabinet, we were going to have something special in there for our African American males. So if you see here, from the fall of 2017 to the fall of 2018, the college had an overall retention rate of 52%. White males had a retention rate of 56%, and our African American males had a retention rate of 42%, which was 10 percentage points lower than the college. So we decided that we were going to develop a special program for our African American males, and we decided to call it AAMSI, and that stands for the African American Male Scholars Initiative. And basically, we wanted to create a case management model, a program specifically for them to help them be able to succeed in college and get those retention rates up, so at least they match the college, and hopefully one day will mirror their white counterparts. So I want to share something really cool with you just to get this thing started. I want to tell you about our why. And if you listen to this young man, he's one of our AAMSI students. He's in his second year at Greenville Tech. He has made the dean's list, but last term, which was the fall, he was having trouble in his English 102 class, and he thought that he was not going to pass it. And so he contacted Kia Keaton, who was the director of AAMSI, and he told her that he didn't think he was going to pass the class. He thought he needed to withdraw. And so she said, well, wait a minute, I'm in the middle of a conference. Let me connect you with someone. So she connected him with another one of our staff members who gave him a pep talk and talked him off the ledge to keep him from withdrawing from the course. And I want to share a video of him talking to his mother and basically preaching a little sermon about how, you know, he stuck with it. So give me just a second and I'm going to share that video with you. So while I'm sharing that, I need you all to turn your volumes up because it's kind of low. So I'm giving you that little nugget ahead of time and I want you to really tune in. So something that's really interesting, his mother works third shift at BMW. So if she sounds a little sleepy, that's why, because he's all excited and she's kind of groggy. So, but it's a really cute video and this is why we do what we do. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay. So tune in and hopefully you'll be able to hear. And this is Levias talking to his mom after he received his grades.
I mean, you did. You got what on your exam?
I got an 80 on my final exam for English. That's what I got.
Look at you.
Yeah. Because I do this. You know? I do this. It's just easy. I'm just like that. I'm really like that. Like, I do the impossible. When you want something, you got to go get it. And I grind for this. I stressed about this class, but I grind for it. And I put in 24/7 every night and day. I sacrifice sleep for this. I was up 2-3 o'clock every night after work doing this, grinding, because I'm determined. I do this.
Well, I'm proud of you, and you ended up.
All you gotta do is stay up and pray, and whatever you want, you can get it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Anything
right?
is possible. Nothing is impossible. Nothing.
You so happy about that, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
That's what's up. I'm proud of you.
So I hope you all were able to hear that. He was clearly proud of himself for sticking with it. And his mom was extremely proud of him too. So he made the dean's list in the spring. He just missed it by a hair in the fall, but he was proud of himself and that B that he got on that final. And just think, he was about to withdraw. At the last minute, we're like, no, don't do that. Don't withdraw. You can do it, you know. And so it was just an example of having that support system in place for him. Somebody that could just give him that extra pep talk to say, no, Levias, you can do it. Just stick with it. And so, you know, he internalized that, you know, and he was telling his mom all about it. You know, if you just stick with it, you know, you can do it. I'm like, I wonder where he heard that from, you know. So anyway, I am going to keep on with the presentation. I hope you all enjoy that. Give me just a second to get it back up here. All right. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So we have what I like to think of as a really intensive and true case management model for AAMSI. And I researched, I can't even tell you how many different programs all over the country, specifically for Black males. And I must say, I'm extremely proud of ours. We have more support in place than any other program that I looked at and researched. So for our students, when they are accepted into the program, we immediately do a needs assessment with them. So the idea is for us to find out all of the barriers that they have, all of the needs that they have, so that we can address those up front before those things have an opportunity to interfere with them getting their education. Because what we learned is a lot of times it's not their academic ability that keeps them from doing well in school. It's everything that's going on outside of school that interferes with their education. So what we do is we look at the results of their needs assessment and we connect them with resources on campus and in the community to help them with those needs. We do really intensive academic advising. Our students come in and within the first 2 weeks that they're in the program, they receive a graduation plan. This plan maps out all of the classes that they're required to take in order to complete their degree. So when they walk out of the coordinator's office, they know exactly when they're going to graduate. They know exactly what classes to take. We also do what's called academic monitoring, which is super important. We have a system here at Greenville Tech called Civitas, and it is an analytics system that allows us to track their grades and to look at their attendance. And so if we see that their grades are dropping or their attendance has slacked off, then we contact those students and we ask them what's going on and if there's anything that we can do to help. And at that point, we develop an intervention strategy to help them get back on track. We help them register for their classes. We have our own personal counselor. Outside of the 4 counselors that the school has to offer, they can take advantage of that as well. But AAMSI has its own counselor dedicated specifically for them. We have lunch and learn workshops every week where we have specific topics that we cover. And we have guest speakers come in for those. Of course, they're able to eat lunch for free. We have free tutoring. They can access tutoring at any time of the day through tutor.com. We also provide them with textbook stipends, so we pay for their textbooks as well. And that's just some of the things that we do. Everything that we do, clearly, we wouldn't even be able to list it on this slide. This is our team. We have a very, very good team. I'm proud of our team. I work with the young men, of course. We have a full-time director that you're going to meet in just a second. We have 2 full-time academic coordinators. We have a part-time administrative assistant. Of course, I talked to you about our counselor. We also have something that we set up this year, which I think is super cool. We have a financial aid liaison here at the college who works specifically with our African-American males. So if we're having any problems with their financial aid, we have any questions whatsoever, then we have someone that we can go to directly that will work with these students. We also have an external evaluator who helps us look at the program and what we can do better. So I'm going to turn it over right now to our director. She started with us in July of last year. The time is all running together, but she hit the ground running and she has made some amazing changes and she has made a huge impact with the program in a short period of time. And Kia?
So hello, everyone. Yes, I am so excited to be a part of the African American Male Scholars Initiative. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our first year. Dr. Watt always calls it our first pancake because, you know, those pancakes are never quite right the very first one, but we're still rounding out the edges to make it even better as we go. So these are just some statistics of that first year. We tried to have 100 African-American males, and we exceeded that in that some of our students left in the spring and we brought in some others. So we had 121 students that we served in the first academic year. 75% of our students are first generation college students, and 77% of them identify as low income, which usually means that they're in receipt of a Pell Grant. 12% have some sort of disability, and that's self-identified. And many of our students are also working in some capacity, whether it be part-time or even full-time while they're attending schools, 67%. We are very proud that we graduated 6 students that first year, and we graduated 2 in December. So we're still graduating students, and we're going to talk to a student that will be graduating this semester in a moment. So we're excited that we're continuing to graduate our students, and that, as you saw with Levias, we have students who are hitting the dean's list, 14 of them in that first year. So the other thing that we're very proud of is our persistence and retention rates. For the first year, from the fall of 2019 to the spring of 2020, the persistence rate for AAMSI, you can see in the bold purple there, was 72%. And if you look at the green, the dark green, that's the Greenville Tech persistence rate of 75%. So this says a whole lot. If you remember, Dr. Watt talked about early on that the persistence rate of African Americans, males, had been at the bottom. And even in this first year, we can see that it is at the bottom at 66%. But keep in mind that that is including those who are in the African American Male Scholars Initiative. So even our rate of 72% was able to boost the African American male population as a whole. So it was even worse than 66% before AAMSI started. And then the white male counterparts, of course, have 80%. So that's what we're trying to hit, is that 80% goal for our African American males. And then here you can see, and I'll just take a moment and let you all read those wonderful comments that our students have said about AAMSI. As you read, you can see one of our students there, and we have, as Dr. Watt said, an external evaluator. So not only were our students excited to say great things, but so much so that they were willing to be identified and say, yes, I said how great AAMSI has been for me. And one of the common themes is that they have someone who is willing to go to bat for them, who's willing to help them, as you saw with Levias, and that they have a sense of belonging and brotherhood. This is another theme that many of our students have wanted and wished for and been able to achieve in having AAMSI brothers here on campus. So I want to talk specifically about another one of our shining stars. His name is Tyrone Wright. Tyrone is a nursing major, and we're sure that he will graduate in May. And you see he has 3.0 GPA. So Dr. Watt, if you could stop sharing so that Tyrone can unmute and you can see him as we talk. Tyrone, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good, good. So I just wanted to have the people understand who you are and what AAMSI has done for you. Before we even go into all of that, tell us how you got started with AAMSI.
Well, I got started with AAMSI by my advisor when I started back in school because of COVID. When COVID hit, I didn't have no connection with the school that, that told me about AAMSI. So I came in kind of like on the tail end of AAMSI, but I actually started my nursing degree ever since 2008. So that's 12 years ago. And I finally, close to graduation, I started with the University of South Carolina, but it was too expensive. So I had to transfer back to a technical college. But what happened, that taught me a lesson, try to manage your money, try to budget your money. So I had to do that to try to make it back in college. So I had to work 3 jobs to be able to afford to get in the nursing program. Because once you're in the nursing program, it's very hard to work. So you have to cut your hours back and try to work at the same time. So that took a lot of time out of my schedule just to have the money to do it, to be able to get into the nursing program. But I stuck with it. And actually, I still had some more setbacks because I got injured on the job and that set me back too. So I actually had to get some help from the disability office at the school, so which helped me move along a lot better. But AAMSI has been great. AAMSI, I came at the tail end of AAMSI, and it's a mental edge lifted off because a lot of things that I was going through, I could, talk to express to the counselor and let her know what I'm going through. So it really helped me get through hard times. So I'm close to graduation. So it's been a long 12 years. So
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
Yeah,
2
it's
years.
been a long time coming. We are hoping for an in-person graduation so we can all cheer you across that stage.
Wow.
So you said the tail end. Exactly when did you start with AAMSI?
I started like I'd say two months ago, about two,
Okay.
3 months ago. But in that meantime, I saw the benefit of it because you had a guest speaker that do the meditation.
Mhm.
And we actually talked to him. That really, really inspired me because I was stressed from head to toe.
Mhm.
Nursing program, because my GPA actually was a 3.8.
Mhm.
And the nursing program is stressful. So it actually drop lower. So I said, it's not going to drop no lower than 3.0 because I'm trying to get into the USC. And you
Mhm.
got to have a 3.0 to get in there.
Right.
So I maintained that, but it was difficult. But AAMSI really took the edge off with the
Yeah.
mental health part of it. Oh my goodness, really helped me out.
Yes. So can you talk specifically about, you said during COVID that AAMSI was available, and how specifically has AAMSI helped you as we're dealing with this pandemic nationally?
Well, we could do the virtual part of it, and then you can you checking in on me. Like when we do the virtual, you checking in, it's like you're not lost. You still connected. So it feels like it's still like a family. Like you connected. You tell me what I need to do, and I'm listening, and that really benefit me more because that means you care.
Right.
You know,
We do. We really.
It's come from the heart, really. That's what something
It's
comes from the heart.
genuine.
You take
Yeah.
it serious. You take it real serious. So I've been.
Yeah.
And I hope every student AAMSI take it serious because AAMSI really care about each other. So, and I feel that real.
Can you talk a little bit about the specific benefits that you received, especially when you were just starting with AAMSI? I know you came and said, okay, I'm with the disability services. And at that time, were you able to get in the transitions program? Was something we were trying to help you get in as well. But with AAMSI, you knew that you had books and tools and things you needed specifically for the nursing program that we were able to help you with. Can you talk about those things?
When I got first talked to you, I think AAMSI was just, because the COVID thing, everything's kind of mixed match. I think it was like I had to wait till some more funds come in or something like that, or something. But you still took care of it. You took care of the problem I had because I had needed a nurse pack.
Mm-hmm.
And what else I had needed? I think it was a nurse pack. My uniform was okay, and I didn't have the funds to do it. So you said, "Hold on a second, I'll see if I can do that." So you pulled some strings that way, you pulled strings that way. You did it. You came up with it. So, and I'm happy for that. So I definitely needed that nurse pack.
I'm glad. So finally, I want to ask, of all the things, because you talked a little bit about, for instance, we did Black Men Meditate, I think you were talking about. And then yesterday, we had a healthy relationships lunch and learn. And it was actually the same man that did the Black Men Meditate with his now wife. So as a whole of all the things that we've kind of done or that you've been a part of, what do you think has been most beneficial for you, or that you found the most valuable, or a key lesson maybe that you've learned?
But the key lesson I learned is always, if you're able to give back, if you are able to give back to somebody, give back, because it's like the good book said, there's more happiness in giving than receiving. So I learned to give whatever I get, whatever I can to help somebody to get better. So, and then, that's a real good feeling. And I feel like AAMSI do that. They really give back to help you to get better, whatever you're going through, to help you improve. So I enjoy that.
I really, really thank you, Tyrone. And I must say this about Tyrone, speaking to everyone now. I send a newsletter every week to all students, and he is the one student who religiously will respond to my email just to say thank you, I got your email, or I appreciate it, or yes, you'll see me at the Lunch and Learn, or for some reason I'm not able, he will respond. And I think that that says a lot about his character, and hopefully that we're teaching that to our students, but also that they're teaching each other how to be better men. Okay, thank you so much,
You're
Tyrone.
welcome. All right.
Dr. White, we'll get back to the slides. So Tyrone really hit the nail on the head, talking about all of the things that he has experienced and how he feels that he can help someone else. And now you might be asking how you can help. And one of the ways that we are always asking for help is, as we talked about, having Lunch and Learn speakers and speakers in other capacities. I just saw Patrick Ratliff responded, and he has been one of our speakers. So specific topics that we need, examples of topics that we need assistance with. And as you've seen, we found where people say, hey, I am a Black man who does meditation. And we think that, especially during a pandemic, this might be something our students would be interested in. And of course, we found out that they were. So even if there's a niche that maybe we haven't named, but you know that you could, that our students would benefit from it, please let us know. But examples are financial literacy, work-life balance, goal setting, things like that. We also have just started a mentor program where we're able to find a student in our program, a professional who is like-minded or in the field that they're in, so that they can get to know that person and also experience one-on-one understanding about, for instance, right now we're working on Black History Month. So some of those things that maybe weren't taught in school, but that they can have a one-on-one mentor and understand those things. We're also, students in the workplace provide an opportunity. We're asking for opportunities for our students to be able to go to your workplace, show them around, even if you can't commit to a whole mentorship, but just so that they can see those ideas of feel what it's like to be in that workplace. We had a student, for instance, who's interested in engineering, but never met a Black engineer. Well, even if we were able to, thanks to Dr. Watt, connect him with a Black engineer, but even if we weren't able to do that, just allowing him to be in a space where he could see himself as an engineer would be very beneficial for our students. I am going to turn over the presentation now to Anne?
That's right.
Okay.
And if you want to keep control of the slides, that's great, Kia, because we just have a couple more. That would be great. This has just been fantastic, and we get to work at the foundation with these wonderful people. Tyrone, best of luck to you. You're going to make it. I'll probably see you hopefully in a healthcare setting. I hope I'm not ill. I hope I just get to see you. But we also have many ways that you can invest in our students here at the foundation. And you've heard through this program, obviously, but there are also many ways. We provide scholarships to students. This past year, over $500,000 to over 500 students. And our scholarships are not duplicative. So sometimes our students do not qualify for federal or state aid. So our scholarships are in addition to or in lieu of scholarships that they did not qualify for. Mateo mentioned those early on in her presentation. And then we also provide for student emergency needs. So just last year alone, over $55,000 to 165 students, some of which were part of this program, others are not, but they run into, I'll call them challenges or barriers that sometimes would cause them to stop. You heard Dr. Watt say, oh my gosh, this student was going to drop out. He was going to stop. No, we don't want that to happen. It can be a car repair, it can be a medical bill, sometimes it's a utility bill, rent, a mortgage payment. We've pretty much seen it all. And certainly the demand has been much higher since the pandemic hit. And then most recently, I think we started out in our presentation, paid balances as it relates to tuition so that students who really wanted to come in the spring could, but they did owe a balance for fall. So in concert with the college, we were able to help over 350 students register for the spring semester. So we enjoy working with our college partners, especially in student services, because they know and see a lot of the need and they reach out to us, and we're able, thanks to many of you on this call and others, we're able through donations to help with scholarships and student emergency needs, and certainly special programs like this one. So our next slide is really recognizing all of the things that we're able to do. And these I've mentioned to you. Somehow we got that slide in, we thought we couldn't. One thing I will note is down in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see that we were able to help these 508 students, but we had students who qualified for assistance, but we didn't have enough funding. So one of our big initiatives and big pushes, and I know some of you on this call support and have endowed scholarships. We invest those funds. It's a minimum of $25,000. Many of our donors will do $5,000 a year for 5 years. Once that fund is up to $25,000, it begins generating interest, and it is the interest that we use to provide the scholarships. So we are quite thrilled for what we are able to do, but we have a long way to go. We want to be able to help 100% of the students that apply and qualify for our scholarships. Next slide. Back one. If you can go back one. I don't know if you can. Can you go back to the other slide, Kia? There's a slide that, if we can get it up here, but I'll read this to you. We wanted to recognize not only, yes, if you will, there should be another one, but that's all right. We wanted to recognize, there it is, some folks who have really been meaningful and helpful to this program. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Greenville Technical College itself committed over $500,000 initially to this program. You heard Dr. Watt mention Civitas. That's one of the ways, and certainly the college has integrated many of the staff positions that you heard about in the presentation. The foundation, we were also able to provide $100,000 in startup support from our unrestricted funds, another way that we can help on initiatives such as this. But you see listed here our external partners, Sisters of Charity, Jolly Foundation, United Way of Greenville, World Acceptance Corporation, Mary Louise Mims, Hollingsworth Funds, Graham Foundation, even Dabo Sweeney's in the game in his All In Foundation, and the Greenville Community Foundation. We are so thrilled that we have all of these investors who have pulled together to help make this happen. Our goal with this program is that we can expand it beyond a finite number of African-American male students to all African-American male students. And then we'd like to expand it to all students, period. There is everything about removing challenges and barriers and getting to that degree that changes the trajectory of that individual's life. It changes their wage, it changes their status. And so if we can do that, we will have succeeded. And so it's my pleasure at this point to let you hear from one of our investors, Jolly Chrisman, and I understand Duff's on the line as well. Jolly, would you share just a little bit about why you and your family and the foundation invested in this program? We have to get her off of mute. There she is.
I unmuted. I know how to do that. Whoops. Why we invested in AAMSI, really, this was a no-brainer for us. The vision of the Jolly Foundation is a just, compassionate, and vibrant Greenville community. And if you think about those three words and the presentation that we just heard, you see all of them working there. And it just gives me so much joy to hear both the staff of AAMSI and the students that AAMSI serves talk about the difference that AAMSI is making. When you think about justice, we heard about it at the very beginning, and it started with Dr. Miller, which is so important that he provided that leadership of we're going to disaggregate this data about retention and look at the groups that we are really not serving as well as we could. And it's not surprising that African-American males rose to the top because that is the case across the country. And then you think about compassionate, and both the staff and the students talked about compassion and how much care goes into the case management approach so that individual students feel that the help they're getting and receiving comes from a place of love and care. And that is just so important. We heard from both Levias and Tyrone how important that was. And what we also love about AAMSI at the Jolly Foundation, that it is a great example of a program that actually is on a journey of continuous improvement, looking at the data. How are we doing? What could we do to be better? And they've been so open about that, going over the information with students, with staff, but even bringing in funders and investors like the Jolly Foundation to hear about what they're learning and what they're going to do better. That was just such an honor to be part of that conversation, and the Jolly Foundation has now made the commitment to provide that service to other programs that we serve. So we may be coming to you to act as a model. So I hope you can see what it means to the Jolly Foundation to be a part of this. It touches my heart, but it also touches my head because I was an educator and I traveled all over the country assessing programs like AAMSI. And I can say that this program is using best practices, but it's also leading with its heart and its care for young African-American males. It makes me so proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jolly. And thank you all so much for your attention. Tyrone, especially for joining us today and sharing your story. We look forward to seeing you, but would entertain any questions or comments or anything that anyone would like to share here as we close out our learn part of the Lunch and Learn.
And you do have the ability to unmute yourself if you'd like to speak up, or we'll look at the chat as well if you want to put any questions in there.
We have a question about how do you become a mentor?
Patrick, my Leadership Greenville brother. Lauren
I think
and
you just became one.
I have Leadership Greenville classmates on here. I'm so excited. At any rate, Patrick, we will call you as soon as this is over. Thank you for volunteering. We appreciate you.
Well, we will, in respect for your time, I do want to thank Dr. Mathilde Knowles and Dr. Alicia Watt and Kia Keaton from the staff with this program. We enjoy working with you. I also would like to thank our foundation team who is on the line with us In particular, Jolly, one of our funders. We do have some others that are also on the line, and we appreciate you. And also thanking Tyrone for being with us today. Again, we look forward to some great things ahead. We are happy to follow up with any of you. You will hear from us. And so we'll send you an email so you have a chance to give us your feedback. And if you need some additional information, we'll be glad to provide it. Wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Hang in there.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.